to create that, we want to create a constant, and we're going to select text, and we want to do what is called plain text. And if you click and drag that, and we want to set this up so that it's down at the bottom, and notice it because we have auto connect set up, it created a constraint on the bottom and the left, but we want to create a constraint here between the button and the text input. So what this does is now keeps this so it lines up properly. Depending on how wide the device is, it'll fill the space. For the attributes, let's switch over to the view fewer attributes. And here, let's give this an ID of edit text underscore main. We want the right margins to be 8 and the left margin to also be 8. And the bottom margin is 16, which is good. And then the layout width, we want this to match constraint because we want this to fill the available space. And then the layout height is wrap content. The input type is, let's change this to text. It's called text long message. So here we have text long message instead of text person name. Click OK. Finally, we want to add what is called a hint, where we give instructions for what they need to type. So we're going to type in, enter your message here. And then for the text, we want to delete any text that's already there. We don't need that. Okay, let's go to the text view. And for this, hold on, let's go back to design, text. For text view, let's delete this where it says Android text equals name. Let's delete that because we don't want anything there. But let's fix this, extract string resource, and then we're going to call this edit text underscore main. Choose OK. Let's go to the main activity.java class, and here we want to add an extra to our intent. An extras is a bundle, it's a key value pair. And so you can use this to add data that is passed always unique. That's why you use reverse domain, because no one else would have the same domain. Well, we're using this as a way to set this unique within our application. Now let's create a private variable to reference the edit text object so that we can get data from the edit text component. So we're going to say private edit text, which is the type of the component that we're using. So we'll select that one, and that imports it for us. And now we say message edit text. In order to get this connected, once we have the onCreate, that means all of the visual elements are available to us. Now we can start working in code to reference those visual components. We know they're available in memory, so we're going to say message edit text equals, and we're going to say find view by ID, and it's going to be r.id.edit text underscore main. And then we'll close that. Next, within our launch second activity, we can, I'm going to do this right after the log, before the intent. We can create a variable by saying string, and we're going to say message. The message is going to be whatever the text is within the edit text field. So we're going to say message edit text dot get text dot to string. Now that we have this string, we want to create the extras that goes for the extra, which is a bundle that goes with the intent. So after we've created our intent, let's go ahead and say intent dot put extra, and it takes a string, which is the ID, which is the key value, extra underscore message, which is the one we've created, and then the message, which is the actual text. So to review, we created a public static final string, which is called extra message, which is a unique value. ID is a unique name that we can reference later. We create a reference to the edit text, and then from there on the onCreate, we assign it, we instantiate this variable, and then when we click the launch second activity, we create the message, which is whatever text was in this edit text field, then we pass it in as an extra to the intent. All right, the next thing we need to do is do something with the intent and show it on the screen in the second activity. So let's go to the second activity underscore second.xml. Let's go to the design view, and from here we want to add a text view. And so go back to comment and we click text view, and we're going to place this under the message received text view, which is the header that we call our header text view. And from here, we want to create a constraint from there to there, and from the right to the left. Sorry, right to right. I'm creating, so here we're setting up our text view. Let's change some of these attributes. So for this, the ID is going to be called text underscore message. The layout width and layout height is wrap content. The top margin is set to 8, the left margin is set to 8. And then we don't want any text here, so we're just going to delete that. We also want to change the text appearance, and so for this we're going to use the same, which was appcompat.medium. Go back to the text, and now we've got our text message with all of the setup here. Let's go to the second activity.java class, and from here we need to modify the text view for the message when this activity launches. To get the intent, we create a variable, and within the onCreate method, we're going to say intent, and it's type intent, and then we're going to call it intent equals get intent. And this is a method that's available on the activity class that returns the intent if there's one available when the activity is created. From there, we want to get a string for that, and in order to get the string from the extras, we need to know what the key is for the message. Now remember, we created that public constant, so we can reference that by saying string message equals, and we're going to say intent dot get the return reply. Activity returns, there are messages that get sent. And the message that gets sent is the activity. Go to the text area. Can you have an activity? So we need to update, and there's nothing going on. And then go to the text area, and just for clarity, we're just going to put to change these values so that it doesn't. So let's go back to the setter underscore in the setter score underscore it should appear, but because we want to show that we're going to add a property, then we want the same here. We're going to say visibility and set it to invisible now so that it looks, when we look, those are hidden. But and we want the check, so public or then we're going to have a couple more variables, private variables, in order for us to reference the new text views. So we're going to say reply, then view equals ID, and then the other one m reply text view equals text start activity from start activity to start activity for result. And what the second activity, the intent, but then we also, so in order for that to happen, we say start activity, but then we also pass in the request. This is the text request ID. To get the result, we're going to override a method called onActivity is override, and then an intent and it's super activity result. So we make sure that the default things of this method get called, and now we're doing extra stuff in a default code equals text underscore request. Oops. Then inside there we check for a result is equal to the text right on result value code. Using the key, and then we turn on this. Here we have question mark. I'm going to do my reply. Complicated stuff. Very good. We have used the